How low will this pullback take us? We're going to take a look at that in this video. We're going to take a look at where Litecoin potentially might find that bottom. I'm really looking for a really good buy-in opportunity for Litecoin and Bitcoin as well. So we're going to take a look at that in this video. What's up guys? If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that button and hit that other button and we'll just jump into the video. So one of the first things that I want to look at before we get into the meat and potatoes of the actual chart here is that Litecoin is falling very fast along with Bitcoin and the rest of the market, as you can see here. So where can we look for potential support here? I really do think, one thing I've been saying since I started making videos again about 3 weeks ago, I think we're gonna have a pullback, and we are most definitely getting that. On the weekly, you see that stochastic really just coming down fast, and that's really kind of the talking point I've had in my videos, like the main talking point for the past 3 weeks is that we are up here, we're not going to stay up there, and we are no longer up there. To put it simply, we look here for two key support areas, I think. One where we found resistance for a long time at 60, a big nice even number for Litecoin, and then the same thing here at 50, even more of an even nice number here. As well, found a lot of support here back in August of 2018 till November. So over 3 months of constant support there until we broke out. And for Bitcoin, that's equivalent to really 6K. Litecoin at that time was hovering around 50, and it broke all the way down to 20. What is this here on the chart? 22, according to Coinbase here. So about $20 Litecoin broke all the way down to. Now, I don't think that Bitcoin is going to go down to 3,000 again, and I don't think Litecoin is going to go down to 20 again. Anything's possible, but the target that I'm looking for more so is that 4,000, and that's kind of a worst case scenario, I think. So for me, I do think 4,000 US dollars would be a worst case scenario move for Bitcoin, and that would be about a 22% continued move down for Bitcoin. And where would that lead us for Litecoin? Another 22% would be right to about 50 US dollars. So that would match up pretty nicely there. I think those would be pretty big levels. And again, this for me, I think is kind of worst case. I'm kind of looking where, the worst, if this move really just does play out to what I think is the full extent of what this move can do, then I think $50 for Litecoin, a 22% move down continued over the next few days or weeks. And then for Bitcoin, a 22% move down to about 4,000, and that can give or take a few $100s for Bitcoin or a few dollars for Litecoin. It doesn't have to be exactly 50, and Bitcoin doesn't exactly have to be 4,000. I know like 4,300 is a pretty nice target a lot of people have and everything like that. So about $300 above 4,000. So take a look at Litecoin here. I'm looking to buy back in as low as possible. And again, what I think realistically is a good pullback target for this would probably be, this is a big range between 50 and 60, which is a pretty huge range there. But I really do think maybe on the lower end of 50, this bottom half of the of these two lines here. Now, I'm saying worst case scenario, but there is a worst case scenario, and that is if we break 50, if Bitcoin breaks 4K, which was long-term resistance here, 4K, where we broke out of this ascending triangle. So if Bitcoin breaks below 4K, trades in this territory, and if Litecoin breaks below 50 and trades in this territory, not only would those be great buying opportunities, but I would not really have any clue or indication whatsoever how much longer we would be in this bear market, because the bear market is already pretty well developed in terms of how long we've been here. A lot of people comparing this to a previous, we can look here on the Bitcoin chart, it's easier to look at, to a previous move around here where we got rejected and then continued up, and it really was the beginning of the bull market. So a lot of people are comparing right now to about right here where we have a nice move up, but then we get rejected, but we find support on that 200-day moving average and we continue up. And again, that would actually play nicely because right now we are not on that 200-day moving average on the weekly chart here for Bitcoin. You can see that right here, and that would be right around $4,000. So a pullback to that area would really line up very nicely with the previous bear market, would line up very nicely with a few of these coins that I'm talking about here, Bitcoin and Litecoin and some other ones as well. but it will also just line up well with these moving averages. As you can see right now on the weekly, Bitcoin is hovering right below this 50-week moving average right here, and the 200-day, you can see this massive gap in here. It's basically that 22%. So between 5,200 roughly, 5,300 to 4,000 is the difference between these moving averages on the weekly. So I think that really lines up really nicely, and we do see this momentum shifting downwards, and I think that's going to continue. If Litecoin is any indicator of that, then I definitely think that'll continue as well. You can see clearly Litecoin is pulling back massively, and a lot of people believe that Litecoin kind of leads the market or gives clues to where Bitcoin is going to go first. And honestly, within the last few months, Litecoin has done a very good job of that. So I'm not bashing that concept at all. I think so far, actually, over the 2018, it's actually done, or 2019, sorry, it's done a really good job of indicating that. So with that being said, I think those are really, really obvious and clear support and resistance areas there. You know, lining up with the moving averages, lining up with percentage drops, lining up with previous huge support and resistances, which completely mimic the moving averages there. And here we do have this golden cross here. So that's, you know, we did get this printed on here. Here's the golden cross. And if we go back really briefly here to the last golden cross in the last bear market, again, these things line up very well. This is right here, this area that I just talked about a few minutes ago. It's the exact same scenario. So again, that lines up perfectly with this as well. And we ended up finding, you know, we see this move up, but then we end up finding support on the 200-day moving average right here, or the 200-day. You see that right here. You know, get the golden cross printed right here, have a nice move up, but then we have a massive pullback. But that also is secretly the whole time the beginning of the bull market. And then we go on to print the highest highs we've ever gotten in Bitcoin and crypto market. So that's similar to what we're doing now. So far, again, these things are way too similar. They seem to be playing out super, pretty much the exact same here. So what's going to happen here, obviously with the golden cross, the 50-day moving average should be crossing above. It is crossing now. So that means the 50-day moving average should be above this, and the orange 200-day should be below it from now on, considering the 50-day tracks the last 50 days and the 200 tracks the last 200. Depending on what the price does, you know, the 50 can react a little more quickly because it is a smaller time frame. But what we could see, I mean, a lot of these things are lining up perfectly here. What that basically means is that we are potentially now in for, and I want to talk about something else that I saw in regards to this pattern here, but we're potentially in for a pullback, but it may be the last pullback, the last big pullback before the beginning of the bull market, which is a really good opportunity, which is something I don't want to miss out on, which is what I think is happening right now. A lot of these indicators, the moving averages, the actual resistance and support zones, that the percentage pullbacks, all the timing of everything, very, very indicative that could be the case. Now, barring like a massive, I think like black swan event, I think this could play out pretty much like it's been playing out because it seems to be kind of obvious at this point. But, you know, there is Tether and USDT and all this stuff looming in the background, which it's the only thing I can think of that might maybe throw a wrench into that. You know, if something comes out like completely horrible with that, you know, I can't really guess to say exactly what it could be. I know some people maybe would say, but say something horrible happens with that and that it's not backed at all, or this or that. Could that leave a big dent in the market, and could that shoot us into a weird area where we don't recover and we don't completely mimic the last bear market, kind of like we've been so far? Because we have clearly been doing a very good job of mimicking a lot of the last bear market. Even with this, you know, recovery out, it's been very, very similar. Now, it could also not repeat the last bear market even without like a black swan event, say something like Tether. You know, things could also just change without a black swan event. So I'm just throwing that out there as well. I do also want to look at these two posts by some people on TradingView before we finish the video. But yeah, I do want to jump into Litecoin here on the weekly. So I think 50 and 60, probably 50 would be my best target. To me, that would be like, okay, I'm going to throw what I have, basically what I want to invest, I'm going to throw in at 50. I think that would be good for me. Here on the daily for Litecoin, you know, we finally are breaking that 50-day moving average for the first time since, I think, January. If we go all the way back. Yeah, last time we were really under that was in January of 2019, and we've been above it clearly since then, but now we're breaking that. We broke it on the daily here, and we're looking for the 200 day right here. On the 4-hour, same kind of story here. Clearly broke this a while ago, and that's why the smaller time frames can indicate what's going to happen on the larger time frames here. And same thing on the hourly here. It's been indicating this for a while. You can see trading below this really for the past over a week actually. So that's playing out pretty nicely there. So that's Litecoin. And do I think this move is going to continue? I think yes. I think we're going to continue to pull back. And I want to take this opportunity to say, hey, guys, this might be an opportunity you might want to get in on. I know I want to. If we go to the 4-hour, same thing here. You do see we clearly broke this 50 on the 4-hour, the blue line here, and we're still kind of completely in the middle of the 200 and the 50 there. And then here we're below both. So if these are any indicators of the larger time frames, then we're going to continue to drop. And on the daily for Bitcoin here, we have 47 is the golden cross where that's happening. So could that potentially play a big role in where we find support? I don't want to say it won't, but I really just have a feeling it will probably go lower than that based on a lot of these indicators, based on the momentum and the movements of the market. I really do think that I don't necessarily think it would be great if we held here. I think it would be better if we pulled back more. I think it just opens things up a little bit. It also cements the previous resistance here as new support, and overall I just think it would be better for the market, because if we did find support here, I could see us maybe going up a little bit, maybe not even touching these highs of 56, 57, and then pulling back even more. And I think that would just be a worst case scenario than just doing it now. I think that would probably just be better. So what I want to look at here, Magic Scat Cannon on TradingView, he posted this, and this is a reverse head and just regular head and shoulders here. You can see that kind of clearly here on Bitcoin on the daily. If I want to just kind of draw this, he says that he sees it forming, so we would see something like this. So that would be a reverse head and shoulders. Again, that's a possibility as well. We could even see something where it dips down to about that 47 up, and basically what I just explained, which would be a reverse head and shoulder, or just a regular head and shoulders, and then we'd maybe test down to 4,000 or something like that. Now, what does he have written here? This was posted on April 25th. So he said, welcome, this is an update. Let's dive right in. I want to give you this warning. Don't let anyone fool you with the suggestion that today's sell-off was due to futures. I completely agree. He basically just goes on to say it's not really based about news. And from a technical standpoint, this move is continuing as expected. So basically, this chart says it all. This is kind of what he's publishing out there, kind of what he thinks. So kind of a head and shoulders here, and then a pullback, and he has it right around the 4,000 level. And I agree with that. So I think, and it's also for him, he pulled up here the 0.618 on the fib retracement there. Again, more indicators kind of just pointing to one simple thing there. And then this I wouldn't give as much credibility to the one I just showed you, but I just thought this was funny. I saw this about 2 hours ago, and he's talking about a bear flag or preparing for a BART move up. And a BART move is basically just a massive straight line, because BART has kind of like a square head from The Simpsons. But the data he shows here is kind of, for me, cherry picking, because you see that, and then you see a move up like quite a bit later. Same thing here, and then he disregards this kind of BART move here. So again, I don't put a lot of credibility into this, but these kind of moves you're going to be right some of the time if you continuously post stuff. You're never going to always be wrong, so you're always likely to be right. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments, if you agree, if you disagree. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that button, hit that other button, and I'll see you in the next video.